Thank you very much for your patience and understanding. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for making it Both Sides of the Story. And we're live again on Facebook and YouTube. So we also received more than a couple of messages. Ricardo in Glengoff, St. Catherine says, good afternoon, Dervan Malcolm, and thank God for life and shout out to all the listeners from across the world. Hubert Fowlin says, a very pleasant afternoon to Mr. Dervan Malcolm, Power 106 FM and listening audience. Good afternoon, Hubert Fowlin. Audrey Smith says, afternoon, Dervan and listeners everywhere. Tuning in from Southampton. Have a good day, everyone. Same to you, Audrey Smith in Southampton, in England. Andrew Lyons says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. This PNP party question for all Jamaicans. Why so much people? I think you meant so many. But we're reading the message as you have it here for the time being. Why so much people have rape intention, always follow in work in the ghetto, and people with criminal intention want, this is all over the place, Andrew. And we're not going to give any further legs to some of the stigmas that are in this message. But thank you for your message anyway, Andrew. All the very best. Continuing with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Inez Ayona Campbell, good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for tuning in. Good to have you on board. Thank you. And keep the messages coming in. The phone lines once again are open, 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Here's another motor vehicle recall. Stellantis recalls nearly 220,000 Jeep Cherokee SUVs worldwide due to fire risk.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45. Farming today is becoming more technologically driven. No wonder Jacto farming equipment has the cutting edge. With Jacto, you are guaranteed sprayers that are durable, user-friendly, low maintenance, have controlled application, efficient and practical. Call Caribbean Chemicals Jamaica at 876-757-0022 and inquire about our Jacto manual and battery-operated sprayers and our tractor-mounted boom and cannon sprayers. Join the Kingston and St. Andrew Association of Grant Societies in association with the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries and the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, for AgriFest 2023. Saturday, May 27th, Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries Playfield in Hope Gardens. Come see agricultural, industrial, and culinary displays and much more. Admission adults $1,000, children $500. Gate prize weekend for two at Sanders Resort. That's AgriFest 2023. Saturday, May 27th, Ministry of Agriculture in Hope Gardens. See you there.
Good afternoon, Evadne White. Miss Evadne, thank you very much for tuning in. She says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm, to you and the staff of Power 106. Hope you're doing great. Sending a shout out to my cousins in Old Harbor Bay, Silburn, his son Oral, and wife and son. Hope they are good. Big up to all in class today. and enough love. Enough love to the White family. All the very best. Your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Another story trending on the Jamaica-Gleaner.com website. Pembroke Hall residents get wellness spark. Residents of Pembroke Hall in St. Andrew have been provided with an additional facility to engage in physical activities following the official reopening of a wellness park in the area. The park was renovated at a cost of approximately $16 million. The sad story of a man being gunned down at a bar in Old Harbor, St. Catherine, is also trending. A man was fatally shot at a bar in Old Harbor, St. Catherine last night. The police are yet to establish a motive for the killing. The deceased has been identified as 35-year-old Colin Alexander of Carlton Glades in Clarendon. The police report that about 8:30 p.m. Alexander was at an establishment located along West Street when he was approached by a man. The man pulled a gun and opened fire, hitting Alexander in the upper body. He was taken to hospital where he died. Also making the news, Chang calls for better border control systems in the region. 25 rounds of ammunition seized in St. Andrew police operation. National Land Agency, NLA, on target to issue 12,000 titles. State of emergency declared in, or states of emergency declared in St. James, Hanover, and Clarendon. $30 million boost for rural youth economic empowerment program. Man killed in staged vehicle sale in St. James. Environmental journalist Margaret Morris remembered for relentless advocacy. Mobe pastor on rape charge to stand a trial in November. And corporate area schools benefit from D&G Foundation literacy support. That's a collection of some of the stories on the Gleaners platform, Jamaica-Gleaner.com, for those who may have missed the news. Those are some of the stories trending right now. What's trending in your area? Let's continue with more of your feedback. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. A couple of stories of significance in terms of the stories from the archives. A new governor of Jamaica, Don Jeronimo Salcedo Garay, arrived in Jamaica on this day in 1515. At the time, Sevilla la Nueva, or what is known today as New Seville, was the capital of Jamaica. Immediately upon landing here in Jamaica, the new governor met open opposition. New Seville's settlers were, as a whole, partisans of the Admiral Don Diego Columbus, son of Christopher Columbus. So you see, our partisan attitude goes all the way back to 1515. And so the settlers regarded Governor Garay as nothing but an intruder, a servant of King Ferdinand's policies, which were in opposition to Don Diego. Garay had not personally clashed with Don Diego. On the contrary, he had entered an agreement with him in 1511 for the conquest of the island of Guadeloupe. However, the political atmosphere in New Seville was too hostile to the new governor. 1655, according to the narrative of General Venables, the Spanish signed the document of surrender to the English on this day in 1655, 6 days after the English captured Jamaica. Let's go now to 1770. At Versailles, Louis, the French Dauphin, married Marie Antoinette, the daughter of Austrian Archduchess Maria Theresa and Holy Roman Emperor Francis I. France, hoped their marriage would strengthen its alliance with Austria, its longtime enemy. Marie Antoinette was 14, and the future King Louis XVI of France was 15. In 1774, with the death of King Louis XV, Louis and Marie were crowned King and Queen of France. From the start, Louis was unsuited to deal with the severe financial problems he had inherited from his grandfather, King Louis XV. In addition, his queen fell under criticism for her extravagance, her devotion to the interests of Austria, and her opposition to reform of the monarchy. See how long they've been trying to reform the monarchy, albeit in France. The Marie exerted a growing influence over her husband, and under their reign, the monarchy became dangerously alienated from the French people. In a legendary episode, Marie allegedly responded to the news that the impoverished French peasantry had no food to eat by declaring, "Let them eat cake." That is, if we're to believe Jean-Jacques Rousseau. The truth is, there is absolutely no record of Marie Antoinette ever using those words. In fact, Rousseau did not actually call Marie Antoinette's name. Here's what he actually said. Enfin, je me rappelais le pis-aller d'une ronde princesse à qui l'on disait que les paysans n'avaient pas de pain et qui répondit qu'ils mangent de la brioche. J'achetais de la brioche. And that's translated to say, finally, I recalled the last resort proposal of a great princess who was told that the peasants had no bread and who responded, "Let them eat brioche. I bought brioche." The phrase is meant to show the ignorance or callousness of the upper classes about the living conditions of the poor, who, if they cannot find or afford bread, can surely not obtain brioche, because brioche was a sort of bread enriched with butter and eggs. Also of significant note is the fact that in 1769, when Jean-Jacques Rousseau made mention of a princess telling peasants eat cake, Marie Antoinette was 13 years old, going to 14. The icing on the cake was a description of Rousseau by one of his biographers as being a mentally sick man, and that the conviction of total rectitude was a primary symptom of his illness. Evidence is cunningly fabricated, history rewritten, and chronology confused with superb ingenuity. The truths Rousseau presents often turn out to be half-truths. So since he frequently made things up, and this anecdote has no other source, this story is also probably his own invention. With that out of the way, let's get back to the story. At the outbreak of the French Revolution, Marie Antoinette and Louis resisted the advice of constitutional monarchists who sought to reform the monarchy in order to save it. And by 1791, opposition to the royal pair had become so fierce that the two were forced to attempt an escape to Austria. During their trip, Marie and Louis were apprehended by revolutionary forces at Varennes, France, and carried back to Paris. There, Louis was forced to accept the Constitution of 1791, which reduced him to a mere figurehead. In August 1792, the royal couple was arrested by the sans-culottes and imprisoned, and in September, the monarchy was abolished by the National Convention. In November, evidence of Louis' counter-revolutionary intrigues with Austria and other foreign nations was discovered, and he was put on trial for treason by the National Convention. The following January, Louis was convicted and condemned to death by a narrow majority. On January 21, he walked steadfastly to the guillotine and was executed. 9 months later, Marie Antoinette was convicted of treason by a tribunal, and on October 16, she followed her husband to the guillotine. Bit of world history there. And the founder of the first U.S. kindergarten was born on this day in 1804. Elizabeth Palmer Peabody, founder of the first U.S. kindergarten. In 1801, William Seward, U.S. Secretary of State, negotiated purchase of Alaska from Russia for $7,200,000. William Seward died October 10, 1872. Reverend Hopetoun Clerk, one of the first graduates of the Presbyterian College in Kingston, was given an emotional farewell by members of the St. Andrew Kirk. Reverend Clerk left shortly for Old Calabar to join the band of missionaries laboring in the recesses of the Dark Continent for the Christianization of the people of Africa. Hello to the people of Mount Carey who are tuned into both sides of the story. On this day in 1840, Mount Carey in St. James was named after William Carey. Who was he? William Carey was the first Baptist missionary to go to India. He became a famous Oriental scholar and published 24 different translations of the Bible. Mount Carey has been a Baptist missionary center since 1830 and was established by the Reverend Thomas Burchell, English Baptist missionary stationed in Montego Bay, where in after years, a Burchell Memorial Church was erected. At Mount Carey, there is a monument to him which reads as follows: Thomas Burchell, born in Tetbury, Gloucestershire, England, December 25th, 1793, educated at Baptist College, Bristol, landed in Jamaica, 15th January 1824, and died May 16th, 1840, in his 47th year.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
Contractors, developers, and small builders. Contact Coast to Coast Group of Companies for high-quality concrete products. The time by Coast to Coast Group of Companies is
3 o'clock.
Both sides of the story.
Do you have a title for your land? Are you thinking about buying or selling land? How much is your property worth? Tune in to Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106 FM every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. for the NLA and You, a program that examines the National Land Agency's role in building an efficient and transparent land titling system for Jamaicans. That's the NLA and You on Both Sides of the Story with Dervan Malcolm every last Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. The National Land Agency. One agency, one goal, committed to serve you better. Cause another home's falling apart. Oh, what a shame. Another group of broken hearts. It's not a secret.
1881, in Germany, the first electric tram for the public started service. 16 years later, we had our own electric tram here in Jamaica. Before that, though, and even before Germany's first electric tram started, the Jamaica Streetcar Company inaugurated a horse car system in Kingston on November 13, 1876. Trams circled the central area and reached Raytown on the east, Maypen Cemetery on the west, and Constance Springs 6 miles north of the city. West India Electric Company, registered in Canada, purchased the horse tramway on December 4, 1897, and began electrification. Kingston's first electric line from the tram depot on Orange Street to the foot of King Street was inaugurated on March 31, 1899. Electric trams bore even numbers 10, 12, 14, etc. Track gauge was 56.5 inches. Operation was left-hand on two-way streets. Tram routes were identified by colored lights and destination boards on the ends and sides of the roof. The West India Electric Company's trams did a good business bringing produce from rural areas to the city's markets. Extra cars were placed on the Constant Spring and Hope Gardens lines. Trailer cars bore uneven numbers, 11, 13, etc. In the early years of the 20th century, United Fruit Company ran banana trains over West India Electric Company tracks from Constant Spring to Jubilee Market. The 1907 earthquake damaged large sections of the Kingston tramway system. 5 cars were destroyed, but partial service resumed within a few days. Luckily, the West India Electric Company had ordered 6 new trams the previous November from J.G. Brill Company in Philadelphia. The 1920s brought new prosperity to the city and a new operator to the tramway system. On May 25, 1923, the West India Electric Company was absorbed by a new Canadian organization, Jamaica Public Service Company, which thereafter provided all electric utilities in Jamaica. The McGraw Electric Railway Directory, 1924 reported 39 passenger motor cars, 1 motor service car, 1 motor freight car, 6 trailer freight cars, and 2 locomotives operating on 26.62 miles of track in Kingston. The World Survey of Foreign Railways, published in 1933, recorded 44 passenger motor cars. Let's stand by. We're going to come back to that information, but we're going to stand by for a scheduled interview. So we're going to go to that in just a moment. It's another event that is being promoted in partnership with Power 106 FM. Life is Just for Living, featuring Ernie Smith, Gramps Morgan, Pluto Shervington, and Dwayne Stevenson. And this takes place next Saturday, or this Saturday, we should say, Saturday, the 20th of May. Tickets, $10,500. Drinks and food on sale. And with lots of support from the Jamaica Tourist Board, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, and Visual Vibe. The Cove Side Community Special in terms of tickets, 2 tickets for 1, $10,500. And lots of food will be on sale, naturally. And this will be at Plantation Cove in Priory, St. Anne. Lots of events, back-to-back events, ever since the full reopening of, let's just say, the full reopening of the country, coming on the heels of the remnants of COVID-19. So I gather Miss Vonnie is online and she is going to give us further details. Miss Vonnie, are you there?
Hi, Dervan. How you doing?
I am fine, thanks. How are you?
I am very well. I'm a little tired from all the ups and downs of doing an event like this, but I'm really happy.
So how did this come about? Whose eureka moment was this?
You know what? I think there are those moments where somebody goes Christine Columbus and somebody goes Eureka all at once. Because we recognize that this is Ernest's 56th year in the music industry. He started in 1967.
Oh, wow.
But he penned I Can't Take It, which Johnny Nash did as Tears on My Pillow.
Yes.
And so we recognize that Ernie has had this enduring ballad for so long. And then, you know, in having some discussions with Ernie, we were talking about Jamaican music history and the future of our music. And he's like, you know, I really love Gramps Morgan. I would like to celebrate this milestone by sharing the stage with a voice and a talent like Gramps. And then we got to talking and just, you know, thinking about how could this Life Is Just a Living unfold. And he said, you know what, I absolutely adore doing Stevenson's voice. And so, you know, Pluto is a long-standing friend of Ernie's. And so we came up with a full package, Life Is Just a Living, with Ernie and Pluto, with Dwayne Stevenson and Gramps Morgan. So that is how the concert came to be.
I see. And what can you tell us with respect to the kind of traction you're picking up? What are people saying? Are they coming forward and purchasing their tickets? Are they getting ready to be a part of the experience?
Well, let me tell you this. Traction is picking up. But you know, Jamaicans have this tendency
Last minute
stage shows.
Oh.
And so they see a concert with four names and they kind of don't know what to do with that. Right? And so we say, listen, each act is delving deep into his catalog. Each act is coming to give you a concert in his own right. And of course, we are last minute people. So you know that people waiting till Friday and Saturday to go and get their tickets. But we say, no, do not wait. Because what we're actually doing, and it ends on Thursday, we are doing 2-for-1 tickets at Fesco Gas Station, Beechwood Avenue in Kingston, and at Fesco Gas Station in Montego Bay, and at Fesco Gas Station, Ocho Rios. So if you go out today, Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday, you get 2 tickets for the price of 1. That's 2 tickets for 10,500 at Fesco Beechwood Avenue, Fesco Ocho Rios, and Fesco Montego Bay.
Your generosity knows no bounds. That's a big giveaway.
Well, guess what, Dervan? It's Ernie's gift to Jamaica. Mr. Life Is Just for Living. Mr. Keep on doing what you're doing, Sammy. Mr. Duppy Gunman. He wants to share with all of Jamaica. In fact, he is inviting all of St. Anne because that is where Ernie is from. And that is why Fesco Ocho Rios was chosen first for the 2-for-1 because Ernie is inviting all of his neighbors in St. Anne to come out at Plantation Cove this Saturday, the 20th. So Life Is Just for Living with Ernie, Pluto, Gramps Morgan, and Dwayne Stevenson.
Sounds like quite a lineup. Care to highlight some of the partners or sponsors who are on board with you in a big way?
Well, let me tell you, Dervan, this is a courtside concert product. So our driving sponsors are the Ministry of Culture and, of course, the Ministry of Tourism through the Jamaica Tourist Board and Tourism Enhancement Fund. We also have our media partners, and we're happy to be on board with Power 106. I have to give you a shout out, Dervan, and Power 106.
Thank you.
JR Gleaner Group has been generous to us, And of course, we have our other partners like MD Korea, and we invite people to use their services. They're right there in Winchester, and Visual Vibe, who has been providing us with our digital boards right around Jamaica.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So for us, Homeside Concerts is about partnership. We also have our hotels along Runaway Bay, Discovery Bay on board with us, our visitors are hyped and ready to come out to enjoy life is just a living. Because the truth is, Plantation Folk has become the mecca for entertainment in St. Anne and its environs. There's
no doubt about that. It's a winning venue, a winning venue.
And let me tell you, Dervan, every Homeside concert product is about leisure and relaxation. So we don't do the long standing up business.
Yes.
Everybody has his or her seat. We know that we don't have any lines outside at the front of our gate. We ensure there is seamless movement. We have traffic police on board. We have security on board. So it's really a family event. We start at 7 sharp, the gates open at 5. But to get a lot of this life is just a living with Ernie Smith, Pluto Shervington, Gramps Morgan, and Dwayne Stevenson, we need to go out and get our tickets early. And we wouldn't want people to miss the gift of 2 tickets for 1 at Fesco Beachwood, Fesco Otrios, and Fesco Montego Bay.
I can well imagine the emotions coursing through the veins of a lot of our listeners right now when you call names like Pluto Shervington and obviously Ernie Smith in terms of vintage and storytelling in the, it's quite something. And then to have Dwayne Stevenson, he has a voice that I like to listen to. So every now and then I bring up one of his videos just to listen. There's just something about his voice.
Oh, God. And you know what, Dervan? Let me tell you now. When it comes to voices, Ernie is really a nitpicker. He is a craftsman, and he is really a vocalist who is a perfectionist.
Yes.
And when you have somebody like Ernie Smith handpicking you to say he wants a Dwayne Stevenson because he can hear the enunciation in August sound. He enjoys the phrasing of a Gramps Morgan with people like you or a woman like you, you know? And, of course, Gramps is coming from what I would say is a lineage of artistry with Roy Morgan being his father, a Grammy-nominated group like Morgan Heritage. What more is there to ask for? So, and when you think about Pluto and Ernie, we're thinking about storytellers.
Yes.
So I want to tell you, a lot of people mix up Pluto's Ramgoat Liver as a Ernie Smith song, and they mix up Ernie Smith's Duffy Gunman as a Pluto Shervington song. But I kind of understand the whole storytelling that is running through their veins, and this is what we want to bring to the stage for the patrons to see a story unfolding. We're talking about Ernie has 56 years worth of catalog, right? And this, I don't want to say it's the last time, but this is a whole set that Ernie is delivering. From El Theodore to Key Card, Duffy Gunman, Life is Just for Living, I Can't Take It, just all of those beautiful pieces that he has gifted to Jamaica and continues to give with this concert.
Hold it right there. Let's just take our final break in this feature and then come back. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15. ISA Trust Foundation, Couples Resorts, RGI Cleaner and Digicel Business present an evening with Michael Bolton, featuring reggae stars Kimani Molly and Taurus Wiley, and hosted by Wayne and Tammy Mitchell. Saturday
sound, lit the cottage from the grill from Dwayne, and just to hear Gramps with his inspirational catalog,
Listen,
singing
man.
about beautiful women and people like you, that sort
Yes.
of thing.
Yeah. It really, really is going to be quite special. We have no doubt about that. And how are you with the management and the movement of patrons in and out of Plantation Cove?
Seamless. It has been seamless. This is actually the fourth in the concert concert series. And like I say, people come on ground from as early as 4:30 because they like to enjoy the grounds. They go down at the cove, relax, they know they can come in and get a drink early, get a meal early. So we do have our police partners, our security partners, our logistics, everything is already set and ready to go for this Saturday.
Yes.
Right? As I say, our tickets are in all Fontana pharmacies. They're also in Music Mart. They are in Statement Pieces by Chris, right at South Avenue near Music Mart as well. But most importantly, the gift that Ernie has told us to give to Jamaica is 2 tickets for the price of 1. That's 10,500. And you get Gramps Morgan, Dwayne Stevenson, Ernie Smith, and Pluto Shervington, and several surprises.
That's a steal of a deal.
I'm telling you, go down to Fesco Beach Road in Kingston or Fesco Oti or Fesco Montego Bay. Tell them Ernie send you for 2 tickets for the price of 1. And that is it. That's all you have to do to come and enjoy Life is Just for Living.
After all, I see one of our listeners online reminding us of that this song "Life Is Just for Living" won the song competition in Japan in 1972.
Yes, the Yamaha song
Yes.
competition. So you
Yes.
see, this is what I'm talking about. And do you know, as you would know, Dervan, Ernie wrote singers to play the music.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he's also a festival song winner
Yep.
as a songwriter. So this is the gift that Ernie has given to Jamaica. When I listen to a song like Keep On Doing What You're Doing, Sammy, when I listen to Pitter Patter coming down on my rooftop, right?
Yes.
That sort of thing. I mean, the catalog is unending. It is perfection. I mean, and let me tell you, Ernie's voice is like wine. He is only getting better. After 56 years, what can I say?
Yeah.
But that life is just for living.
Listen, we want to wish you and the entire team at the entire Coveside Concerts team on the tremendous work you've been doing. A lot of people have been and are being employed by virtue of the series of events, and that should never be underestimated, the value of the contribution to the economy of these events. That's significant, isn't it?
Yes, Dervan. You see, a thing about Coastside Concerts is that it is a movement. There's a nucleus of it on Plantation Cove, but then it spreads out and it goes to our technocrats or technical team or creative team. We have an in-house resident band which is led by Desi Jones, right?
Yes.
And so we have what I believe is the best team of musicians. I have what we believe is the best technical team or stage and lighting crew, that sort of thing. And we recognize the value of creativity to the economy. We recognize that Coastside Concerts employs over 1,000 people with every concert.
Whoa.
We recognize that we're a part of the cultural product and a part of the tourism product. We recognize that events like these are needed where we actually recognize and appreciate the stalwart amongst us, but also look forward to the future. And, somebody asked me, why did we choose these 4 soloist acts? We chose these acts because Pluto Shervington and Ernie Smith represent where the music has been, and Gramps Morgan and Dwayne Stevenson represent so much of what we want to see coming out of the music now. Right? And so we packaged it all together, and we couldn't think of a better way to celebrate Ernie than to brand the concert as Life is Just for Living, a celebration of all he has done for 56 years to take Jamaican music to the top.
Absolutely, you have said it well. Your eloquence is quite staggering. Not that we're surprised. You have a way of saying things, of putting it together.
Well, I'm learning from you, Dervan.
Oh boy, poor me.
And then I will see you at the concert. I'm coming to grab you. I have your 2 tickets. So you shall be seeing me in studio very soon with the 2 tickets because you need to be seated at the front to really take in this piece of Jamaican history. Grams Morgan, Dwayne Stevenson, Ernie Smith, and Pluto Shervington. Life is just a lady. 2 tickets for the price of 1 at Fesco Oterios, Fesco Montego Bay, and Fesco Beachwood in Kingston. And of course, you can pick up your tickets otherwise if you want to pay full price at all Fontana pharmacies and online at carrytix.com.
Well, we encourage our listeners at home and abroad to make sure you get your tickets. Life is Just for Living. Ernie Smith, Dwayne Stevenson, Gramps Morgan, Pluto Shervington. Happening Saturday, the 20th of May. Plantation Cove, Priory St. Anne. And very, very good deal. A Coveside Community Special, it is called. 2 tickets for 1, 10,500. And it is going to be what they say, off the chain.
Off the chain. That's what it's going to be, Dervan. It's going to be a moment of magic.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Yes, Dervan. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye. That's Vonnie Coromanti of Coveside Concerts Management Team. As eloquent as ever and as enthusiastic as ever. And that enthusiasm is quite infectious. And we know there are a lot of people who have been infected already in a good way and are looking to turn up and turn out at Plantation Cove. It's going to be quite something. Let's give you a bit more Ernie Smith and mix it up a bit in the next 3 minutes and before we take the break.
My way, that's how it's got to be. This is the song that young men sing. Life is just for living. Life is just for living. Life is just for living. Feel like a star, leaning on the bar, rapping to my pals. La, 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 la.
A word from the wise,
don't try to make life on your own. Remember that child just by your side. For I was a soul who was lost, and my life was in dismay. For among evil forces in which I played, guns and ammunition were my chosen way of life. With God-fearing people I chose to strive. For all of the lives that are taken, they can never be replaced. But still, Judge, I chose to remember my face. Though I never lived like you wanted, I'm still mindful of what you taught me. So now I beg and plead, I'm on my bending knees. Cause Father, you rescued me. I've got the scars to show. I daily made it a long life's road. Cause when my life got dark, he was the only spark. He was the light at the end of the road. If you give a little more than you take, and if you try to fix more than you bring, if you're the kind who takes the time to help a stranger in the rain, there's a place for people like you. If you stand up for those down on their knees and lend a voice to those who cannot speak,
If you shine a little light, give sight to the ones who've lost their way. There's a place for people like you. Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:30.
Catch live action of the 5th staging of the Racers Grand Prix on One Spot Media pay-per-view June 3, 2023. This year's meet will feature appearances from 200-meter world champion Sharika Jackson, 100-meter hurdles world record holder Toby Amusan, Wade Van Niekerk, Tajay Gale, Shanika Ricketts, and Noah Lyles. Purchase your early bird pass for only US $11.99. Offer ends May 19. Or purchase your regular pass for US $14.99. Simply log in to One Spot Media, select the
She's coming?
View tab, and buy your ticket. You may also download the One Spot Media
Okay.
app and watch on the go. So purchase your Racers pay-per-view ticket today.
Okay.
It's not a secret. We all know that.
A family-friendly afternoon to you here on both sides of the story. Para 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. Thank you so much for tuning in. Pleasure to have you on board. Jackie Lemqua says, good afternoon, Dervan, and all on board. Greetings to you too, Jackie Lemqua. Finally, the spotlight on Ernie Smith via incorporating others has now been highlighted. Just 2 weeks ago, I remembered giving a shout out to him here, reminding of his birthday of May 1st. And that was the reggae song, Life is Just for Living, that won the song competition in Japan in 1972, says Taki Lemko. Demar Davis says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Busy movements from St. Mary. Love your program. Always tuned in. Thank you very much, Demar Davis. Good to hear from you. Thank you. Hello to Opal Shaw. Good afternoon, Opal Shaw. Good afternoon. Sophia Nemard in Newell, St. Elizabeth. The Jamaica International Independence Foreign Song Competition, Gary G, is in touch with us as well. He says, Dervan, good evening, good afternoon. The Jamaica International Independence Foreign Song Competition will announce the top 12 songs on May 17th. That's tomorrow. This is our third staging. Join us at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time via our Facebook and YouTube pages, which is J or is two I's. Two I's. JIIFSC announcement is being made courtesy of the Wayne Hall Show. Visit our website, jiifsc.com, for more information. Natalie Winter says, lots of love to all viewing and listening public. May you have a blessed day. Take care of yourself and remember to take care of little ones, big and small. Thank you, Natalie. Dr. Trevor Dixon, founder of the Jaja Foundation, emergency medicine physician at the Jacobi Medical Center in the Bronx in New York. He says, greetings from Jaja Foundation, 82 degrees in New Jersey. Thanks for that weather update, Trevor Dixon. Winnie Anderson Brown says, greetings to you and your listeners, Dervan, sending some love, light, and laughter your way. And we're gracefully and graciously and gratefully receiving the love, light, and laughter you're transmitting. Winnie Anderson Brown, good to see you. It's been a while, hasn't it? Thank you so much for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Our text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. The lines are open to you. Feel free. The regular call-in lines 876-922-4112 876-922-4112. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Dervan Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
This is Bonnie Coromancy. Are you coming to the concert, sir?
Oh, we're live. Hold on. We're still live on air.
All right. They're gonna call you after.
Call you back. Right. Will do. Thank you. Thank you for the call. Continuing with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Hello to Spider, otherwise known as Horace, saying, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I think the PM needs to revisit green plate on your private transportation. If you ever know how detrimental this green plate is to small business in Jamaica, and small business is what builds a country. Even last night, I was listening to Dear Pastor when a gentleman called in saying that a farmer can't transport his produce in his own transportation unless he has green plates. It's about time the PM revisits this dagger to small businesses. Well, it's a topic that has been doing the rounds. We raised it at the National Arena at the Police Expo, the Jamaica Constabulary Force Expo, and it clearly is a revenue generating decision, revenue generating, based on the fact that especially in doing that interview with the representative from the JCF, and he kept emphasizing the point that if you are transporting the goods for money, if it's a transactional financial arrangement, if you're making money from it, that's when you need to be sporting green plates. If the exercise you're doing, whether transporting goods or otherwise, as long as it is for money, as long as it is transactional, then you have to be wearing those green plates. On your vehicle, you have to have the green plates. It is worth revisiting. There's no question about that, especially if we want to continue to encourage small business operators. And you also have workmen who have their tools that they transport in their vehicles, but because they're using it to make money, the government clearly wants a piece of the pie in terms of additional revenue to the coffers, to the consolidated fund. So my impression is that it is a revenue generating exercise, straight up. But the minister without portfolio in the office of the Prime Minister, Floyd Green, had said at the last Grenell's driving school defensive driving workshop that from in his position, based on his position as having some kind of responsibility for road safety, that they're still amenable, they're still open to questions and criticisms and recommendations at this stage, because the new Road Traffic Act is still that, it's still new. So I would humbly suggest that those who are affected, and there's power, there is strength in numbers. If those who are being impacted by this decision feel so strongly about it and are really feeling it, it would help for them to get together and and put a proposal or a proposition to the administration and see what comes out of that. But it is one of those topics, one of those issues that is not going away anytime soon. So let's see if it will be dealt with and how it will be dealt with. Anthony in Montego Bay says, "Good day, Sir D. Blessings to you and your hardworking staff. Sir D, I have a great concern. I'm a worker at a basic school. There are some kids of which their behavior is of great concern. I took it upon my head to investigate these kids by going to their home. Sir D, what I found out is not good. 4 of the 7 kids I'm investigating have been fed weed tea in the morning. Reason, give the tea, reason, give the tea will give them, or the reason why he's saying, oh, well, it's a he, did I establish that? But anyway, reason for the tea is that it would give them good brain. Really? The other 3 kids, when transporting to school by their when being transported to school by their father, they're exposed to smoke of weed. Now, Sir D, when these 7 students come to school, they sleep for half of the class, and when they're awake, they act up a lot. Sir D, can you, with your intellectual capacity, poor me, help to get a task force set up to find a solution for this problem of such kids that are suffering by poor parenting? Still, Anthony in Mobay. Well, Anthony, that is a matter for the guidance counselor or guidance counselors at that institution, assuming they're attending the same school. Or it might mean having discussions with guidance counselors from more than one school. And then the work can begin from there. They can then tap into the Ministry of Education's resources and the ministry into its resources to rescue those children if they are not being treated as they should be. That's what we would suggest in that. This one says, hello, Dervan. Miss Mabel in Ocho Rios sends her thanks for another interesting history lesson, as well as the feature on Ernie. You're welcome, Miss Mabel. This one says, this song is heavily rotated on Power 106 and Music 99 app, and it has a family theme to it, just as this Billy Paul, but I do not know the name of it. Do you know it, sir? Oh, I haven't been able to listen to it. The one that you have posted. One moment, please.
For any project, ABC Electrical Sales has all your electrical supplies at the best prices. 8 Hagley Park Road, Kingston, 7543714. The time by ABC Electrical Sales is 3:45.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. The person who sent the recording, haven't been able to listen to it in full, but I've made a note of it. First time hearing it, actually. And he also says, good to hear my aunt Winnie Anderson Brown in tune with you as well. But we're happy that she's still in touch with us. And Horace, otherwise known as Spider, says, Mr. Malcolm, the tax that you pay at the hardware on those goods is more than enough. Where is the break for the small businesses? I can't see the break, says Spider. Yeah, that one is a tough pill to swallow. And let's continue. 876-922-4112-5. Those are the numbers to call. This one says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. I'm asking if there's anyone out there who can teach a senior citizen some craft, anything besides crochet. We would humbly suggest that you get in touch with the senior citizens, the Council for Senior Citizens. That's what we would suggest. And we have no doubt that they will assist. The National Council for Senior Citizens. That would be our solution. The National Council for Senior Citizens. Hope you got that. Thank you very much for your message on our text line, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Karen Rose says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm and listeners. Just tuning in. Hope everyone is having a good day so far. Indeed, we are. Thank you very much. And all the very best. Earlier on, we were giving you the long history, that wasn't even half of it, of the early transportation systems in Jamaica and transportation solutions. And we referenced the McGraw Electric Railway Directory of 1924, recording 39 passenger motor cars, 1 motor service car, 1 motor freight car, 6 trailer freight cars, and 2 locomotives operating on 26.62 miles of track in Kingston. The World Survey of Foreign Railways, published in 1933, recorded 44 passenger motor cars, 5 passenger trailers, 2 freight trains running on 43 kilometers of track in Kingston. Apparently, the company acquired many more vehicles after 1907. Jamaica Public Service Company closed the Kingston tramway system on the 10th of May, 1948. JPS claimed that it could not afford to maintain the right-of-way or construct needed extensions. The entire system, I'm just looking at something here. The entire system, all lines ran until the end. Company records indicate that because of a public protest, the Rockfort Gardens line continued operation for a few more months until approximately August 1948. They were superbly maintained, but were all sold for scrap in 1949. What a shame that one of these magnificent vehicles, 50 years old, but as good as new, was not preserved. What a shame. Let's go to the phone lines, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
Good evening to you. To my understanding, we are confident with it, but I believe Trump can phase out 1945-46.
No, this is not my information, Mr. Coombs. This is information from the Gleaners Archives.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. can't make mistake, all right? We not quarrel. We not quarrel with you. Let me tell you what me here, please. Dr. Yassine, the Dr. said not to be here. He come make that town 1945. Then he late part, after 44, 1945, he sent to me something wrong with my head. And in the last part, near to Christmas, me years ended. My wife uncle, was the driver at them time, but me don't know that my wife uncle, one Indian man named James Shaw. And James Shaw, get a man who drive the car come home. And saying couldn't drive away, I'm nervous. That's what I was being told. And several people are not of the right, but believe it. From Garage used to be at Nash Street and Orange Street. When I turned up on Orange Street, and I left on one big building there, the Trump Garage was. Alright, that is that. Anyway, the chief was a call for about the motor vehicle, Jamaica motor vehicle, the green plate. Mr. Malcolm, nobody fooled before the green plate come in. It was CMC, Commercial Motor Carriage. When you go buy your truck or your van, your license and
Hello?
that license plate on the truck. The road license plate was CMC, Commercial Motor Carriage. Them so when you go there now, that time every year they give you, when you pay your road license, when you pay your license, you pay every truck. You pay your road license every first year, you pay right there in your farm and you put it over post office. When we go the first year, we say, Madam, please make the sign up to me. And she still put it on me sign me. And me get my carriage license, that's all. And Mr. Further in charge, and Mr. Chicago carrying me with the green plate. So it's the same thing, you know, the people that the weight of people in my that. They tell me somebody, me not even 1978, no. No, 1978, yeah, me buy my old truck. And about 2009, me come out here, 32 years, me not the first time Mr. Malcolm, me one policeman, Mr. Garden, come and tell me, he married to my wife cousin. I'm sure him the paper and he tell me everything. When that until they tell me, thank God, me not ask nobody. How to go about road license, what we do until me come out here, you can take my time for me sick. So, nobody fool it. CMC, Commercial Motor Carriage, right? And you had my talk of license was CMC. No, E45, the time when you buy a vehicle, you get a license plate with it. As soon as the green plate coming now, then when you buy your vehicle, you have the gas your plate. What do you do with it? So I'm money making. So the only people no people to come from that. Anyway, thanks for this. We not to do with the trunk here. But then 1945, 46, it goes out. So being a kind
No, that's what you remember, Mr. Combs.
One second, beg your pardon. When Columbus blew away and come to Jamaica, I India Columbus leave to go, you know. So I'm going to school, me teach that tell me, say, you say the children them out the door. When son at night, they will go and tell school for you. And you say Columbus fly, come out and life, and he leave to go to India and we blew him with San Pete, Peter, I forgot the name, Mr. Wayne, so Columbus tell you, and come the more people that have one can when they come discover people. So I know everything clean to do with some people make mistake with some my phone.
Except Mr. Coombs, right?
So me make mistake, yes.
Okay.
We'll pay a couple more of time and we can't pick it back again. 1 year correct. Me are 86-year-old. Coming July. And me say me are 76. But man, not say you carry me from come one for me, you carry me when you criticize me. So me say, boss, me don't know who make mistake. So
All right, Mr. Coombs. Thank you for the information. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
Anyhow, what I would like to deal with is employment and crime. You know that in Jamaica there's a lot of people that want to give credence for criminal behavior. With the reason being that people are unable to obtain employment. And some even go as far as to say they're not getting enough money. Because even a policeman, if a police commit crime in a year, you can't live off a police salary. But when you go for a job, Mr. Malcolm, so you are presented with a pay scale and you have an idea of how much you are going to work for.
Well, you should be sure to make and to have that information at hand. It would be really foolhardy to go and sign on to something
Yes,
and you don't have the requisite documentation.
yes, so you can play ignorant after you are employed that you can live on your salary.
Yeah, the money is never enough, and it's never going to be enough.
Well, I like how you put it, will never be enough, and people must not willing people and put into their head that they are entitled to X amount of money when only probably A amount of money is available to pay them. And everything is left to the discretion of the employer as to how much you figure the other person's skill or work put in is worth. But you have the option of taking it or refusing the offer. And if you refuse, then you must know how you are going to cope. And when I talk about that, basically I'm going to make reference to job creation. You must have heard that unemployment in Jamaica today is at its lowest level. And to give credence to that, on Sunday I was listening to RJR. RJR was telling you about what is in the Gleaner. And what they made reference to is that there were 24 pages of advertisement in last Sunday's Gleaner of job possibilities. You know that 5 or 10 years ago, you would not find even half of that. So, if you have a situation like that, you're doing that the country is on sound economic footing. Where I see that the problem lies is that many of the people are not qualified for the jobs that are being advertised. And that would call for upgrading of their skill and greater knowledge in order to access for jobs in order to be productive where those entities is concerned. But what you have is people want to tell others now, including well-educated people, that we have other option of not working because for X amount of money because how much it is going to cost you in terms of expenses. And we know that the majority of the people of this country are not going to earn enough in order to cope. So you'll have to change your lifestyle. What you spend X amount on, you probably have to spend A on it. You have to cut back. And at the same time, you have to equip yourself with skill because you know that certain entities are here at certain times. You remember now a couple of months ago they had trust for that fear. And you know what came out of that fear?
No, they have them from time to time.
Yeah, but they have it from time to time. What came out is that in terms of accreditation and upgrading of one skill, a lot of our skilled personnel out here, even when I use the word skill, some are not fully skilled, but they have some knowledge of the subject. You have to upgrade your skill in order to be certified. They call that certification. And the figure was so low, and what struck me most.
Hold a moment, please. One moment.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
¿Qué hora es en español? Il est 4 heures. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4 heures. Let's do that again. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora? ¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4 heures. 现在几点了？4点02分. Well, first it was 4. Now it's a minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. Thank you so much for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Thanks for holding.
Mr. Malcolm, what struck me most was that there was one parish that didn't have one person certified. I don't know which parish that is.
No.
St. Thomas.
What does that tell you?
Huh? Well, it's sure that those people are not really interested in upgrading their skill in order to become skilled craftsmen out here in their trade, in order to access certain jobs. And they have been unfortunate in that parish that Goodyear closed down, and many people lost their job. But imagine if you have another factory like Goodyear come to St. Thomas again and they need skilled personnel to place in certain areas of operation. There will be a scarcity, you know.
You think so?
Do you agree with that?
Well, it will just be a matter of trying to identify the crop of individuals who will be able to people or to staff that particular enterprise.
Yeah, so what we need is trade training center. When you acquire the basic, you upgrade yourself under art certification. Because in my neck of the woods, there's a trade training center at a place called Beachamville near Claremont. And I have no problem with that. I give the plenty credit for building that institution. But you know what problem I found with it?
Hello? Hello? It seems the call dropped. Sorry about that. Please feel free to call back. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Governor.
You're too kind.
That is why people go in the diaspora. I met and I thought and I think there's some sense. Dr. Gale gave him a story this morning when he talked with the same argument. Dr. Gale said, here is this lady of a first degree and he get a job. But when he did when he worked out all his costs, taking bus fare, lunch money, and work it out for a week. Like if the job was for 60,000, the cost for her to go to a job, to this job, was 65,000.
Is it possible to give us a little more volume? You're pretty low. Your line is pretty low. Yes. Much better.
Yeah, Dr. K is telling, here is a lady with a first degree and she pick up a job, but when she do the job, when she work on all our costs, clothes, everything, cleaning herself, her clothes for the week, having lunch, paying bus fare, and everything, it work out that the cost of going to work only have $7,000 left. So, and then when she saw her mother said, no man, bother go work. Better you stay with me at the shop. And I don't know why he consistently saying, and he was telling that he like the lady left. No.
No, well, people must know what they want, and if opportunities present themselves, and those opportunities are not in line to our own pursuits and and needs, then we have to re-examine the position we're in and arrive at a plan B or a plan C, depending on where we are.
But this is why we have in the brain drain. Because people who qualify themselves and cannot pay back their student loan have to go abroad, and that's why we are losing some of our state teachers. And
And
don't why Jamaica won't go up and try to defend the government. In my opinion, I think that people that work like in the tourist industry, that the tourist industry get paid in US dollar. I think everybody in the tourist industry should pay in US dollar at a rate that is reasonable. And that is what I've been saying to Ralston from the other day. And if that was being done, we would not have our people now that going through Antigua and go to Mexico border and go through all the atrocities they have to go through to get a job. And that is why we elect people into parliament.
yeah, well, in the final analysis, people will make decisions that they believe are in their best interest and the best interest of their families.
Of their family. That's true. But when I look at, say, for instance, I went up to Sarsola, that is the British Virgin Islands, and I was surprised that here's a British Virgin Island, and they don't use the pound, they use the US dollar up there, and whatever they give us with the US dollar. And I have gone there, I've gone there about 30 years, and they have a toll, and the toll just go up by 10%. Because and out here we have a toll road that every year it raised up and to we can pay the toll rate to go to their home in where the toll are in Portmore. And these are the problems that Dr. Gill is trying to educate people about. And Dr. Gill, he run from Dr. Gill program and coming to face it to you. Well, he's in Texas, where people used to make a lot of money. I know they used to make a lot of money with a ganja at that time. Ganja was legal. No, ganja is illegal. If the government can establish a ganja,
Technically speaking, it's what has happened is the decriminalization
yes,
of certain a certain portion
yeah,
of marijuana.
yeah, but in the United States, a lot of the states have no legal ganja. And in Canada, and we have to be importing ganja from Canada. And these are things that I think our government and our MP and our council should adjust their minds until they can lift the living standard. Because if you get in if you get in the way now, which is not a livable way, and if you get that way, and you take and you drive 2 times from Kingston to Manchester, nothing is left. And that is the reality. Jamaica is living. Jamaica grow up. Thank you.
All right, thanks for the
My
call. Take
brother.
care. All the best. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, taking your calls on 876 922 4112 to 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm.
Your radio.
Yeah, man, anyhow.
Your radio.
Hold on, let me turn it down.
Off would be more like it. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my phone wanted some charge, so I put it to charge.
Uh-huh.
Anyhow, I won't deal with you, fellas. I will just continue on my merry way. I know it's very good, you know. Anyhow, as I was saying about the trade training center, you know what problem I had with the trade training center?
What's that?
Trade training center should have cost $70,000. I think it up costing $210,000, 3 times the amount, because of the escalation in price in the building and construction industry. And that was about, the announcement was made in 73. And it took them many years to complete it. And you know, with that trade training center, many of the young people don't go there to acquire skill. And that is what this government is encouraging young people to do. Go and acquire a skill. Because TT was telling you about Clinton and Ganja. And Ganja was one of the contributing factors why they never got to the trade training center at that time. Because here made that argument. And our era has suffered significantly because of the ganja that was flourishing at that time and the bauxite industry. Ganja naturally died. And with the offering as a bauxite company, Southeast Jamaica has become a rather pauperized constituency. And that is why you have so much problem in Southeast Jamaica in terms of representation, kind of representatives they need, and constant infighting. Because the poor political representation that people like CT would support has contributed greatly to pauperization and lack of opportunities in places like Southeast Jamaica.
So where does that leave us in 2023 Jamaica?
Huh?
Where does that leave us in 2023 Jamaica?
Well, in 2023 Jamaica, many people want to say that it is contributing to crime because lack of opportunities is causing young people to turn to crime. Some of them fall into that category, but that is not always the case. Because you have many people out there that are suffering and they don't commit any crime. And you have many with gold spoon in their mouth that come from well-to-do jailers that are some of the biggest criminals in this country. And help to contribute to fomenting violence. And violence and crime in this country has reached such a sophisticated level that no government will be able to solve it. Even the man that is criticizing it now, Mr. Bunting, was calling for divine intervention. And Peter Phillips, when he was in the spot, said that we need 25,000 home guards. And you know that is a part of the people's militia in Cuba. So we don't want those type of things around. And when I talk about employment and people who have to...
one moment, please. Please wrap when we come back.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
It's probing.
There has not been a single year since 1974 where the poor has not been oppressed by the state, precisely.
Spurring action to move Jamaica forward.
I know people are out there screaming, yes, but it's not just this government. I don't cheer. Fix it and stop spinning. Govern, man, govern. Whoever is there.
Featuring the bottom line with Ralston Hyman, the best public affairs banter on Jamaican radio.
Part of the national campaign against inflation. We have to have a shake-up of the public sector boards leading to increased efficiency, cut the corruption and the mismanagement, and get the agencies to function in a more efficient manner.
It's Power Talk, weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Identifying challenges and finding solutions in a globalized world. Dr. Herbert Gale on Mondays and Tuesdays. Simon Crosskill from Wednesday to Friday on Power 106 FM. Join us.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:16. 现在几点了？4点16分. 16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Yes, sir. Back with you.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. At the present time, you would have heard the argument about minimum wage and livable wage.
No, that kind of discussion has been going on forever.
Yeah, because from 1974, I wrote an article in the Daily News about the minimum wage. And it brought about the editorial comment at the time about cost push and demand pull. So cost will always increase, and the higher the cost, the lesser the demand. So everything is a matter of demand and supply. So you need increased production and productivity at the same time in order to access more money. And we need that both in the private and the public sector. So all of those that are clamoring for more salary as government employees, we need a greater level of efficiency and better service being provided to the country as a whole. Because when you look at it, government basically don't create wealth, you know. Government collects taxes from people in order to provide services. So you have to have efficiency in order to have the requisite capital to provide for the demand that exists in all facets of government. So there is no easy fix, because one previous head of this country went into the free zone. I'm certain that you have heard about the free zone. And said that they sweatshop and cheap labor. And that happens to be at the honor.
Hello? Lost that call. Sorry about that. Let's move on. 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number. 876-365-3346. This message says, good afternoon, Dervan. This is Calvin Lake. The program theme song used on air now is a 1974 Sounds of Philadelphia international production by Gamble and Huff, performed by the late Billy Paul, called Bring the Family Back. And This one says, thank you for taking notes, sir. You may be able to get the people from the music library to help. I last heard it at 5:52 p.m. on the 7th of May 2023 on the Music 99 FM app. If you can help, you could tell me via this medium, just in case I miss it when announced. Yeah, well, it's out there. If you're listening, it's on the radio. I'm not understanding what you're asking. Please help us. I'm not understanding what you're asking for, actually, because the information is out there with respect to the recording itself. So what are we missing? Please tell us. Thank you for the call, the message. This one says, good afternoon, Dervan. Yeah, I read that one already. Another one here saying certification matters in order to keep abreast of change in technology. However, when the job fails to meet your basic needs, you create your own job. Welcome to culinary wellness and beyond. Cuban in Georgia says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. Do we have a life-saving AED machine at the Kingston Public Hospital, sir, or device? I don't know. I would have to go and check. Sir Malcolm, the poor people of Jamaica and Haiti have been left to rot with more and more problems on the people every day after the terrible trauma of slavery brought upon the poor by the white colonial enslavers. Has anyone ever addressed the situation of trauma and what kinds of support have been provided for these people? And this is a serious problem concerning Black people in Africa, Jamaica, and Haiti, and America. And another thread of this message. Okay, Leslie, the people are wrong and are to be blamed, not the government of Jamaica for the mismanagement of the assets and investment of Jamaica, asks Cuban in Georgia. Leslie, if it was the market people running the affairs of Jamaica, we would have a better Jamaica a long time ago, because I'm absolutely sure that the market people would have spent our money better and we would have better results and more assets in the bank than the present government in office. The government of Jamaica has presided over 60 years of conflict, crimes, and violence in Jamaica, and the government has no shame for mismanagement of the country's resources and assets, says Cuban in Georgia. Thank you for your messages. Hello to Dr. Sharon Wiles. We see that you are going to be at the Ellipse in Washington, D.C. next Saturday, the 20th of May at 10 o'clock in the morning. The 25th anniversary White House prayer for our nation. We wish you all the best in your endeavors, Dr. Sharon Wiles. Neville, otherwise known as Salah, says Dervan Jamintel is a JLP propagandist. You know, I don't have a problem with propagandists, because at least you know that they are a propagandist or whatever else they are. This is a democracy and people should be free to express themselves. So people are free to express themselves, whether we think they are propagandists or not. I have no problems with that. People are free to express themselves. I am not going to accuse anybody of lying, because I have no evidence of anyone lying. And because it doesn't spread. All right. And no, we're not going to read the rest of this message, Salah. We're not going to read the rest of the message because it's too personal. We don't. Why do we have to get personal when we are engaging each other? Why can't we just have a discussion or a debate on the basis of the arguments that we put forward? Why does it have to descend into a mud war or something like that? It's one of the reasons why there are so many murders in this country. The incapacity to or inability to reason, to discuss, to debate, and stay alive, as opposed to that engagement ending in death because somebody didn't like what somebody else said. And we talk about each other with such vitriol. We are, as far as I know, this is Jamaica. And as Jamaicans, the idea is for us to work together to build a better nation, irrespective of which political party is in power. That whole line is just so hackneyed and tired right now. It doesn't ring true anymore. It is. There are those of us who have had enough, quite frankly. We must be able to, as big people, to have a debate, a discussion, an argument, and come out alive and without the kind of vitriol that some of us spew, as if we are not a part of this country of ours. We have to do better than that. Anthony says, Sir D, it's only sad we have to listen to these political activists. It spoils your good show. They all have an agenda. Well, this is the point we're making. Everybody does have an agenda. But people are free to express themselves as long as they're not slandering anybody. Just a moment, because this must be an emergency. Just a moment. Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You're calling me what when I'm on air? Yes. Just not as strong as it once was. Thank you. But I have to go back on now though. Okay. Where? Virtually. Oh. All right. ¿Qué hora es en español? Well, we're coming to another break. What time is it? Let's see.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 4:30.
Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call this and every Wednesday evening at 8 with Powering Your Health. Powering Your Health is Power 106 FM's flagship program dedicated to health and wellness. Your one-stop place to power a healthy lifestyle. How can we help you to power your health? You can reach the show anytime by calling 876-922-41125 or by sending a text or WhatsApp message to 876-279-8598. Brought to you by Benson Pharmacy and Wellington Dental. That
through Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Straight up on YouTube says this must be a paid announcement by Jamintel. Who else is messaging us now? This one says, this is Lisa Brown Campbell. She says, Mr. Coombs has a wealth of knowledge. He really needs to write a book. Well, we're tired of telling Mr. Coombs that or suggesting to him that he does, but he doesn't want to have any of it. So that's not going to change anytime soon. Steve was concerned about the volume earlier on. He says volume is low on Facebook. Yours is the only complaint we're seeing, Steve. Not sure why, but hope you're hearing us much better now. Velta Wilson in St. Thomas says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and listeners. Good afternoon, Velta Wilson. Dr. Sharon Wiles says, greetings, Sir Dervan Malcolm and all listeners. And she goes on to share the event that we mentioned earlier on May 20th, which is this Saturday in Washington, D.C., at the White House prayer. We will be praying for all law enforcement globally at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Folks can go to the White House prayer, whitehouseprayer.org, and watch live. Please check your WhatsApp for flyers. And she's sending up lots of prayers as well. Calvin Roberts in North York, Ontario, Canada, is also in touch with us. Thank you very much. Good to have you on board Both Sides of the Story here on Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Anthony in Mobay, we read his message already, or it's sad we have to listen. Oh yes, I read that already. Let's move on. This one says, tell Cuban in Mexico, stop electing the people mashing up Jamaica. It's a people problem for not holding government accountable. It's not government. This one says, just wanted, let's see, from the music. Just wanted to know the name and artist so I could purchase same to have in my personal collection. That's all. But we can put it to rest for now. Thank you nonetheless, sir. Yeah, I've taken note. Maybe you weren't listening earlier on. I've made a note of the line that you gave me. And our old or whole family is struggling on. The refrain. With a view to searching for it at some point. So let's Leave it there for the time being, unless you think on your own you'll be able to track down that particular recording. Spider says, Mr. Malcolm, what I can't understand is, can a doctor or a lawyer transport his or her tools of trade without green plate, but a carpenter or a plumber can't? I don't know that it discriminates. I know that what the law says, based on the interview I did with the policeman at the National Arena, that as long as you are using those tools to generate revenue, to generate income, you should be wearing your vehicle should be sporting the green plates. Now, there is a lot of argument, a lot of debate and discussion about this. And what we suggested earlier is that for those of us who have to travel with our tools of trade with a view to obviously earning a living, that we feel strongly about the law as it is now, it means that we should get together and make a submission to the minister or ministry or agency or department with responsibility for transport and related matters. That's what we have humbly suggested. Other than that, it might very well stay the same. But as we said earlier on as well, it is obviously a revenue generation system. That's really what it is. The governments will always be looking for sources of revenue so that they can do what they are supposed to do. So that's what we have suggested, that those of us who are affected or impacted by the law, that section of the new Road Traffic Act, which speaks to wearing affixing green registration plates to our vehicles if we're transporting our tools of trade and related paraphernalia. That's what we would suggest. Thank you very much for your message, Spider. And Salah says it was that what was said on Power 106. Yeah, but I'm not going to repeat this information that is here, Salah, because we're not about that. We're not about fomenting vitriol and bitterness and all of that. We express yourself if you must. Let's have a debate. Let's have a discussion. Let's have an argument. And at the end of it, even if we don't agree with each other, can we at least agree to disagree? We can disagree without being disagreeable. It's a kind of maturity that we need to get to. Really and truly. It's about time, actually, that we get there. How old is Jamaica again? 60. Well, independent Jamaica, 61, going 61 now. We need to hear more of the maturity, the maturity of a 61-year-old coming out. We need to hear more of it in our public discussions on radio, on TV, in writing, in the press. We need to hear it. We need to feel it. We need to see it. Otherwise, we'll have to assume that it has left us. And right. Who is this now? This one is, well, since we have read so many of your messages, Cuban in Georgia, we're going to give this one a break. We're going to give the next message. And I see you're still typing the next thread of messages. a little break. We're going to bring in somebody else right now. So let's go to Steve McDonald from Lennox Big Woods in Westmoreland, now based in Canada. Good afternoon to you, Steve. Thanks for calling in.
Good afternoon to you too, Dervan, and good afternoon to the people
Oh,
of
I
Lennox
forgot to,
Figures.
sorry, I
And
forgot to mention Mannings. I beg your pardon. Sincerest
yes, I was
apologies.
actually getting there, and Sablamar and the Mannings community. You
Yes.
know, when you spoke about ability to agree to disagree and disagree without being disagreeable, I'm just sorry that everyone didn't have the opportunity to go to Mannings and to enjoy the rich history of debates that we would typically have. But such is life. We all can't be blessed, but such is life.
I hear
So
you.
Dervan, in
Yes.
terms of discussions,
Mm.
what you were saying actually piqued my mind. And so, if I'm understanding you correctly, an accountant who uses their computer or a graphic artist who use their computer to do their business have to get is now required to get a green plate. And you also use some mic equipment when you go around. So you also have to get your a green plate when you're driving around in your car?
No, well, the fourth estate is apparently very well protected because it's the fourth estate. No, but
Right,
seriously.
let's go back to the accountant then.
Yeah.
Who uses the
No,
computer.
no, the accountant just puts his or her documents or whatever other tools
Or a
in a
graphic
bag
artist.
or a graph. Yes, and you're good to go.
Right.
But
So
it's mostly what I'm learning, I get a sense that it's mostly targeting, for example, those transporting, like farmers transporting agricultural produce,
right.
like the construction workers transporting maybe
So it's
their
discrimination though then, Dervan.
yes,
At the end of the day, it's actually discriminating against a certain subset of people.
yes, yes. In fact, the first time I found out what had happened, I I I I felt I was disappointed actually, because I was there thinking that some Jamaicans who are working Jamaicans, they're not idlers, working Jamaicans are being deprived of
Penalized.
penalized even, yes,
Yeah.
which is why I am suggesting that we not just talk about it, but that we put it in writing and make a submission to. I'm not sure if that committee is still. My impression is that there's still some remnants of that committee that was involved in the amendment to the road traffic, the amendments to the Road Traffic Act. I'm humbly suggesting that those who are impacted get together and either get the court to make a pronouncement on it, or otherwise.
But at the same time, when you think about it, we have how many? 63 parliamentarians who
Yes.
should be doing this form of representation for their people.
Well, the political system doesn't allow them, it seems, or it's so well, that has been the practice, that
Right.
you don't publicly disagree with with your respective political party, especially on a
So they're slaves to ideology then, and
yeah.
not free thinkers.
Unfortunately, yes, we're not there yet in where we really
Yeah.
should be. Yeah.
One of the other thing, you mentioned that you were with the police recently.
Yes.
Do you know what the average response time is for 119?
That's an excellent question. I think the commissioner said
Question.
the commissioner said something to the effect. I'm trying to remember now. He said something along the lines with respect to the technology is allowing them to get to a point where they can measure the if they're not already there. I don't want to misquote him, but it gave the impression that they are either close to that point or looking to get to that point. Uh, that
Close to which point? Close to responding?
to being
I'm
able.
getting a feedback from you.
I don't know where that is coming from.
They're close to which point? Close to being able to respond to 119 calls?
To be able to give you the matrix. Well, maybe not matrix. Maybe that's not the word. But in terms of the details. But I think they are there because one of the things that another representative from the police said was that they actually can tell their vehicles are also locked into a system, and so they're able to monitor their unit. So if they dispatch a unit to Spanish Town Square, they can find out if the police actually went to Spanish Town Square or in fact ended up in Old Harbor Bay.
Right, so they have some monitoring system, but I think what we're talking about is a little bit different. But it would be important. It would be important to know if it is actually being monitored, because while I appreciate all the fancy equipment and the new technology that they're having, I think that's something that is very basic. And here's the reason why I asked. So a few years ago, when I was in Jamaica, I had an accident. Someone ran into the side of my vehicle, and I called, and I was there waiting for over about almost 2-3 hours, and no one came. I was in a relatively bad area, so I decided to leave. A friend of mine, son was unfortunately killed last week. And he said that the police took, I think, between 2 to 4 hours to show up on the scene, right? So to me, that very basic in terms of response time is important. No, I'm not too sure coming there 2 hours afterwards to show up on the scene. I'm not too sure what they intend to find. Or what they can hope to find in terms of evidence on the scene, but probably I'm watching too much CSI, because they say, it's what you see on TV is not what actually happens. But putting that aside, if you could follow that up for us in terms of response time, and I'm presuming that response time is going to be different for the corporate areas to the rural areas.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see, what is, or even how it breaks down by the different stations, and what improvement is being they're making over
I
time.
think now that I'm just pulling on all the information I got from the police. The commissioner did, what did he say? He did make reference. He did make reference, apart from the system being having the capacity to monitor the vehicles. Oh, they have the constabulary is ISO certified, International Standards Organization. They are ISO certified, so they have to be at that standard. Otherwise, they would not have been certified.
Okay, well, I'll take that for what you say. I really don't know what that means and what that
It's
will
an
mean.
international.
As I said, something
International.
last week, and it took them 2 hours, a minimum of 2 hours to get there. So, in practicality, I really don't know what that means. But just moving on real quick.
It means just like food and other items, that you have to have HACCP certification, and from the farm to the fork, being able to track all of that. There, it's of that nature, and they will lose their certification if certain things, if in checking back or supervising or looking at the systems at some other time, they are
Okay.
and things are out of
Okay.
place, then they could lose their certification.
Okay, just like how we lost the certification to send mangoes to the US, I presume. But anyway, before I get here, I saw recently on social media where a police was hit by a bike.
Yes, I saw it.
Someone on a bike, right? Dervan, we have a habit of police will walk out into a road when a car is doing 100 kilometers or whatever, 60 kilometers, whatever the speed limit is, to stop a vehicle. It's one of the silliest and dumbest thing that I've ever seen. These vehicles are mechanical. The police don't know what is happening. Could you, when you speak to the commissioner or whoever again, could you impress upon them not to do that and find some other mechanism?
It is something that has happened before that has caused debate, and people said the same thing. Some people said the same thing that you have said as well. We hadn't, before this most recent one, we hadn't heard of any other. So it's just one of those things.
So I don't understand. It's like I really don't understand what logic drives that, and what logics is causing them to continue to do that.
Maybe just power. You are law enforcement. So you see a vehicle, or maybe you have the speed gun or whatever, and the vehicle coming at knots, and you're anxious to ensure that that one doesn't get away, and you step out.
Okay.
Perhaps not in the way that you should, in terms of doing so carefully, but in your haste to penalize the individual, you forget how you're supposed to approach. It happens.
Therefore, how can you step out carefully in front of a car, a moving car going on at 100, and no, I mean, you don't have to attend Mannings to know that what will be the result of you standing in front of a moving object going at 100 kilometers per hour. Like, I mean, that is what I've seen done elsewhere, is that there is another car, which is a police car, which is down the road, which will then go and intercept the car, pull over the car. I don't see, in where I've been elsewhere, which is the US and Canada, I don't see any policemen stepping out in front of cars. They either have a bike which will ride on the car and try and stop it, or another police car further on down the road, which will pull over the car. So I don't understand the logics.
Human
Jamaican police think physics will operate differently.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. But anyway,
it's not unique to our people. I'm not making any excuse for our people, but it's not unique to our people. When you look at some of the videos globally of some of those happenings, you would wonder if these people were for real.
Jamaicans are supposed to be brighter than a lot of other people, so I'm hoping that, you know, we've been taking on people in the JCF with degrees and all of that. So I'm hoping that someone there would have done some first form physics and can figure out that a vehicle which is moving at 100 click, someone standing in front of it, if there is a mishap, that person is going to end up in an unfortunate situation.
Your point is made.
Along real quick.
I was about to move on. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the other thing, I'm concerned with, I'm having to be more precise. I am having some discomfort, and people in the diaspora are having some discomfort. And the discomfort that the Minister of Education is feeling and have halted the democratic process of electing the president to Mona, is it Mona? Dr. Denzel Williams. It makes me wonder if
can you bring into the fold those who don't know what happened before you get to the point where you're telling us what you're telling us now?
It is Mona? Is it the University of the West Indies or Mona campus? I just want to be accurate. I don't have the information in front of me. Probably you can remind me.
No,
remember. Okay, so Doc, I gather that the current president of the University of West Indies, or one of the campuses of the University of West Indies, is retiring, and the University of the West Indies went about selecting a replacement. I gather that they had 3 candidates, and by unanimous decision, Dr. Denzel, or Professor Denzel Williams, was elected based on a selection process that they use. I think he had 8 out of 10 votes, or 8 out of 11 votes, if I remember correctly. And in terms of, they did the psychoanalysis, and he scored the highest of all 3 candidates. When it was to have been approved or finalized, I gather that the Minister of Education, who did not vote for Dr. Denzel Williams, as is carried in the newspapers, expressed that she would like the process halted, as she has some discomfort with Dr. Denzel Williams, and she would like to do some further consultation before he's appointed. Now,
yeah, I did pick up. Yeah, I did pick up as much, but he was. I don't know if he's still there. He's in another country. He is. I don't remember which country, but he's serving in another country. Has been there for a little while. Still the University of the West Indies, but I was trying to remember as well which country, because.
Yes.
I got the impression from back then, when he was appointed in that particular country, that was some kind of a decision that was controversial. That's what I thought at the time. So to hear it coming back again now, which is why I wasn't clear that this was the same situation. But
yes, and it actually makes me wonder if
it's
if this
untidy.
present government had was in government in the 2016 election, and they were supposed to if they were in government in the 2016 election and only lost by 1 vote, what they would have done at that time.
Oh.
It makes me wonder.
All right, we're gonna have to leave it there. Steve. We're coming up on news time.
I've covered what I needed to cover. Thank you very much, Dervan, and good evening to you and your listeners.
Thank you very much for the call. All the best. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Well, this person must have a breaking story to have been calling this number incessantly. Hello, good afternoon. Go quickly, please. We're almost out of time.
This man for too long. The man is asking about the response timing for the police to answer to a call. The commissioner should tell you in the corporate area 5 minutes, 3 minutes, or whatever.
Okay.
That's what the man is trying to find out.
All right. Happy.
Of himself, and you don't have all the information. That is what he must try and get from the commissioner in the corporate area.
Yes.
When I call 119, how fast, how quick, what's the response time? That is
we got it. Thank you. All right.
Having too long, man.
All right. Well, you got on, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right. Take care. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Tuesday, the 16th of May, 2023, All things being well, both sides of the story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible. Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
Good afternoon, I am Dervan Gordon. Coming up in the news segment of Beyond the Headlines, today, Tuesday, May 16, 2023, government announces